Hello, dear students. I am Samir Velankar. I welcome all of you to this second video on the topic normalization. In this video, we will learn a very important concept called functional dependency in a database, short in the short form called as FD, functional dependency. Let me tell you that the normalization of the database, normalization means splitting large tables into small tables so that we reduce redundancy and we remove anomalies as seen in the previous video. The normalization process itself is done by the help of FD. So this concept is very important for normalization. Before we learn these examples written over here, let's find out what's the definition of functional dependency. Now, functional dependency FD is usually written as x arrow y. This is read as x arrow y is written as x determines value of y. X determines value of y. And this is an FD. Now, what is this x and y? This x and y are the attributes of the table. So, x might be a column in the table and y will be another column in the table. X will have some values, Y will have some values, isn't it? For example, for some time you might imagine that X is roll number column and Y is the name column of a student in a student table. But it's not necessary that X and Y might be only single columns. When I say that X determines the value of Y, X arrow Y is an FD, X determines the value of Y, then X can be any subset of the columns and Y can be any subset of the columns. In general, we say columns as attributes. So suppose, let's say we have columns like this, A, B, C, D. Four columns are there or four attributes are there in the table, and there are some values for A, values for B, and so on. All these columns are having some rows, values in these tuples. It might happen that we write FD as follows: AB determines CD. What that means is A and B both together, A and B both together will determine or find out the value of C and D. That's how you read FD. Now, what that exactly means, X determines Y. Here we go. Suppose if we say that there exists an FD, X determines Y, as written here, then if in two different tuples T1 and T2, let's say T1 is one of the tuple or row and T2 is another row, that is tuple in your table. And in these two tuples T1 and T2, the column X is having same value. Let's say X1 is the value and X1 is the value here also. So you can watch out that in two different tuples, value of X is same. Then if the value of X is same and if we have said that X determines Y, that's the functional dependency, then in the other column Y, wherever X matches, the value of Y, whatever it is, value of Y also should match. I mean, in two different tuples, if the value of X is equal, then in that same tuples T1 and T2, value of Y also should be equal. This is what is the meaning of X determines Y. In general, in the literature of database, what we say is that if X determines Y, then given two different tuples T1 and T2, and T1x observe is equal to T2x. What that means is in tuple T1, whatever is the value of X, say X1, and in T2 tuple, value of X is same, that is X1. So in these two tuples, value of X is same, then value of Y has to be same in T1 and T2. Then we say that X determines Y, or that's the meaning of X determines Y. Isn't it so? Like, as an example, just consider a table like this. The name of the table I have kept here is R. R is the name of the table, and there are three attributes or three columns A, B, C. And we have been told that there is a functional dependency A determines B. Now watch out for some of the rows of this table. Note A, B, C are the attributes or column names of the table, and following are the rows of the table. Now what you observe over here, is that A determines B is the FD. Then in whichever rows values of A are equal, let's see these two rows. Observe these two rows. In these two rows, value of A, column A is A1, same values. And we have been told that A determines B. Then in these two rows, if the value of A is equal, that is A1, then value of B is definitely equal or must be equal was two rows for value of B. Check that value of B is B1 and B1, same in those two rows. So in whichever rows A agrees, that's the general literature. In whichever rows A agrees means values of A are equal, in those rows B also must agree. As another example, A determines B, watch this. A determines B, isn't it? So in these two rows which I am marking, observe this. Value of A is A2, same. Then in the same row, but under column B, whatever is the value of B must be equal. That is the meaning of A determines B. Observe some word of caution. A determines B. I hope you are reading it again and again as follows. If value of A agrees in T1 and T2, if they are same in T1 and T2, two tuples, then value of B must agree in those two tuples, isn't it? So it is from A to B. If the value of A is equal in two tuples, T1 and T2, then value of B must be equal in those two tuples. Don't make it other way. If A determines B and suppose value of B is equal in two tuples, let's say, then value of A may or may not be equal because B does not determine A. Let's see what I am talking about. Just check this. In the same example, in these two rows you watch, which I am marking, value of B is equal, B1, B1. But note the corresponding value of A in those two rows, that's unequal, isn't it? Well, that's because B is not determining A is determining B, isn't it? So you have to see if some FD is given like this, you have to see first of all the rows in which A has same value and then check whether in those rows B is having same values or not. Then only that FD holds correct. For instance, suppose I add one more row in this. Let's say in this table I add one more row. Let's say the row has A1 value again under A and C is say C6. Now tell me what should be the value of B here? You know that A determines B. Then wherever the value of A is equal, you watch. Value of B has to be equal. So value of B is B1 when A is A1. Value of B is B1 when A is A1. Then value of B has to be B1 when A is A1. I hope you understand. So if you insert any more rows with the value of A as A1, then you have to put value of B as B1. Only then these FDs will agree or will hold correct. Isn't it so? Now, just check the example which I have given above. This example, is actually an example of EMP table. I think we were looking at this table just in the earlier video. Employee table is having attributes employee ID, employee name, employee salary, and department number in which the employee is working. Now, what if I write an FD for this table? I am the creator of this table. And when we create any table, besides creating the table and inserting the data in the table, we should also give FD, functional dependencies, for that table. Now I am writing one FD over here. EMP ID determines EMP name, comma, EMP salary, I'm writing in short, and EMP DEPT number. What that means is that EMP ID alone, the single attribute, can determine EMP name, EMP salary, and EMP department number. Possibly that word determines, this word determines is many times not understood. Okay, we have found the definition of FD. I hope now you know the definition of this. In two tuples T1 and T2, if the value of EMP ID is same, then in those two tuples T1 and T2, in the same tuples, value of name, salary, and department number should be same. That's the meaning of the FD. But what that determines means, you see, this EMP ID 100, which I am marking here, if this number is given, then we can determine name of the person, salary that person earns, and the department in which that person works. I hope you are understanding what I am telling. Just imagine that you visit the office of your college and you introduce yourselves. How do you introduce? You don't say that I am Samir Velankar and I stay at Mulund. You just tell your roll number, isn't it? Once you tell the roll number to the office clerk can determine your name, your semester, or your address, or your phone number. So, roll number alone can determine all the attributes of the student. Similarly, in this table, EMP ID alone can determine all other attributes of this table, but name cannot determine. Suppose I write an FD like this: EMP name can determine EMP ID, EMP salary, and EMP department number. I'm writing in short DEPT. No. This may not hold, because there might be another student called Samir with same name, with say employee called Samir with say employee ID 105 and some salary, let's say 80,000, and from some department. Now, if I am saying that EMP name determines all this, then in any two tuples T1 and T2, if EMP name matches, then in those two tuples T1 and T2, all these fields EMP ID, EMP salary, department must match. But these two people are different, isn't it? So they will have their own EMP ID, their own salary, and department also may be unequal. So EMP name cannot determine all the attributes of the employee. EMP ID can, because EMP ID is unique. Every employee is given unique EMP ID. In many times in database, we call this as candidate key. EMP ID is known as candidate key, or to be precise, in this example, it is called as primary key. But here we will use the term candidate key, and I'll tell you what candidate key is in big detail as we proceed. I think we have seen it in relational model also, but I will tell you again what candidate key means. If X is able to determine all the attributes of the table, all the attributes, then X is called candidate key. So here EMP ID alone is able to find out or determine name, salary, and department number. Alone EMP ID is able to determine all other attributes. Then EMP ID is candidate key, isn't it? Are you understanding importance of functional dependency? I hope you are understanding. If suppose I have a table, R is the table with attributes ABC. Okay, I'm not drawing the table, but somebody has given an FD like this. FD is A determines BC. Many times comma is not written between BC. Okay. So A determines BC. This FD is given. That's it. That's it. Now you know that A is candidate key of the table because A alone can determine rest of the attributes. You see. So A is the candidate key. So how important the specification of FD is, you please try to understand. Functional dependencies will help us in normalization. I told you, not only that, they will also help us in knowing many details like what is the candidate key, what is the primary key, and what is the super key. These three terms can be easily defined by using functional dependency. By the way, after learning the definition of FD, let's see importance of FD in normalization. Why we are learning this? What happens if something determines something? Let's consider an example. You will like this. Just watch. Suppose that we have an FDB determines C. Imagine. In a table, the name of the table is R. I'll just increase the font. Okay. This seems good. Okay. Suppose I have a table R. Name of the table is R. Three attributes are there, A, B, C, or three columns, and we have been told that B determines C. Okay. So just watch this table. I have shown some rows. If B determines C, then wherever B matches, check these three rows. Value of B is equal. In those three rows, value of C must be equal. It is C1 everywhere. Similarly, in the rows where B matches again, watch this. In these three rows which I am marking, value of B is B2. Then in the same rows over there, value of C must be equal. It is C2. So really B determines C, isn't it? A determines something is not given, but B determines C is given. Now, how is this going to help us in normalization? You know that normalization means splitting larger tables into smaller tables. Watch out these sections. Watch out these sections where if the value of B is equal, we have same value of C, isn't it? Same value of C. So this C, value of C has to be typed again and again, like redundant data it is. Similarly, that same value of B appears here and the same value of C has been typed again over here. In that case, what we do is we create two tables. From our ABC, we create a table R1, let's say, which will contain A and B, only these two attributes. And we create another table R2, which will contain B and C, which will contain B and C, these two attributes. Now watch how the tables look like. The tables R1 and R2, R1 contains only AB, whereas R2 contains B and C. Now watch the values of B1, wherever it is value of B, wherever it is B1, B1. You would like to know what is the value of C, isn't it? But you lost C from this table. You don't have C anymore in R1, but we can easily contact the other table. And in the other table, we can see for the value of B as B1, value of C is C1. So we easily get A is A1, B is B1, and the value of C for this B1 is definitely C1. But the fun part of this is that we have now not stored that value C1 again and again, isn't it? We have stored that for every B1, value of C is C1, for every B2, value of C is C2. This example is exactly same as the example discussed in the first video, where we had two different tables. Recall, we had first one table which was having, I'll just reduce the font, which was having EMPID, name, salary, department number, and department name. Watch, wherever department number matches in both tables, then department name also matches. So we had a functional dependency here. Department number determines department name, isn't it? So what we can do is that we can put employee ID, employee name, employee salary, and department number in one table. and we can put department number, department number, and department name in other table. That's what we exactly did in the earlier video. You can see these were the two tables that we created, and this was nothing due to functional dependency, that department number if determines department name, why don't put department number and department name in one table, that so that we will reduce the redundancy of typing CS or typing ADM again and again, or storing these department names again and again. So that is what is functional dependency, and that is how we use FD normalization for splitting the tables. Now please don't come to a conclusion. This is not end of it, isn't it? This is just the beginning. I just gave you an intuition of how FDs will help us in splitting the tables. But in the next and coming videos, we will see many normal forms. Actually, we have normal forms as first normal form, second normal form, third normal form, and BCNF. Our aim actually is that we want to make small, 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 and smaller tables, and BCNF is going to be the smallest out of all. This is our aim, but we can't reach BCNF directly. While normalization, usual procedure is first check whether the table is in first normal form, then go for second normal form, third normal form, and finally get BCNF. I hope you have got the intuition about what is FD, functional dependency, and how important it is. I have again given a formal definition of FD, but you have already got the definition properly. But then you can pause the video here and you can note down these definitions again. In the next video, we will see some more examples of FD and what it means. Thank you.